of the first things we're going to have to do in making a frame on this particular sailboat is make a perimeter tubing. You can either put it inside the lifeline stanchions or outside the lifeline stanchions, whichever works best for you. What that'll do is give us a place to fasten our rib legs wherever they may fall, because the lifeline stanchions are far apart on this particular boat. We like to keep our ribs about 36 to 40 inches apart, and by having that perimeter tubing we can fasten our rib legs along the length of the boat wherever they may fall on the frame. The first part about making a perimeter tubing is to decide whether you're going to go inside the lifeline stanchion or outside the lifeline stanchion. On this particular boat we have plenty of room on the outside, so we'll put it on the outside, and then our rib leg can either mount inside or outside this particular tubing. We're going to have to put a bend or an arc in this tubing to match the shape of the boat, so we're going to start by making a mark at the first stanchion here, and then we'll put a slight bend on it to bring it back so it'll come around and meet the next stanchion back. All right, in order to make this bend we're going to use a tubing bender, and what we're going to do is hook it onto the tubing, and that line we're going to line up with the star on the side of the bender, and we're going to just step lightly on the bender and make a little bend in this piece of tubing like so. That should be plenty for what we need. I purposely put a bigger bend in here than we actually need. I want to show you how to take some bend out, which is very easy. Just put it under a cleat, or you can do it on the ground under a car tire or a cradle or anything that's solid, and just bend down slightly on it to open the bend like so. And then we're going to try it again. Now I've made a bend where we've had the mark, and I've also made a second bend to help line up with the stanchion behind me a little bit better. And now we're going to fasten this tubing to the bow rail and the lifeline stanchion with a cover clamp. On the end of the perimeter tubing I've installed a rubber tip. This will keep the cover from getting caught on it and chafing. It just gives it a little bit of padding. The next step in the process is to put a coupling on the end of this tubing that we've just bent. Now we have two kinds of couplings. This is our single coupling. Both couplings are welded seam, high strength couplings. This one we're going to use on the perimeter tubing, and the rest of the frame we're going to use our double coupling, which is twice as long as a single coupling and has two set screws either side of the joint. It's a much stronger coupling. Now we're going to install the coupling on the end of this tubing with the screws facing down, and we're going to tighten it with a screwdriver. Now we're ready for our next piece of tubing as we move aft on the boat. Now we've installed the perimeter tubing on the port and starboard side. Each piece was shaped and bent just like we showed on the first piece. They're all installed and clamped to the lifeline stanchions using cover clamps.